Sir, does the CEO for the insurance company's use of AI with a 90% error rate play it all into your calculation of him dying or not? Is this actually true? I don't usually believe like the lay epic Reddit reporting, but I'm maybe gonna look into it, I guess. Why we want insurance executives dead. No, that does not mean that people should murder them, but if you've watched a loved one suffer and die from insurance denial, it's normal to wish the people responsible would suffer the same fate. Damn, why is it the insurance company? Why not the hospital or the doctors or the equipment manufacturers or the government or anybody? It's just damn, it's the insurance companies. Damn. If you like this article, please subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, was fatally shot Wednesday outside the New York Hilton Midtown in Manhattan, where the company was hosting its investor day. Thomas, 50, had been CEO of United Healthcare, United Health Group's insurance arm since 2021, overseeing a wide range of health plans and benefits. Within seconds, yes, this is the Taylor Lorenz article. Yeah. Within seconds of the news breaking, people online began celebrating. A Facebook post by United Healthcare about the CEO passing was met with 23,000 laughing emojis before being taken down. Health insurance companies are parasites, siphoning blood money from the sick, dying, and injured, one user posted. I'm only surprised it hasn't happened sooner. Why would a doctor be held responsible for insurance denials? Why would insurance denials be held responsible for hospital denials? I don't know. It seems like you can literally pass this buck around like a million different ways. Twitter and Instagram users began remixing videos of the shooting to pop songs. Jesus, okay. What the fuck is he talking about, LeMayo? What do you mean? What am I talking about? The health insurance company doesn't treat the patient, right? It's the medical staff of the hospital. The insurance companies are what increase the prices the hospitals charge. I'm sorry, is that the case? Is literally all of the extra cost of medical care in the United States just due to insurance companies? Wow, what a simple, it's so nice that we can just have one person to blame for such a highly convoluted problem. Wow, crazy, I didn't know that, my bad. I forgot that that the majority of the healthcare cost increase in the United States is because of insurance companies. My bad. What an easy thing to solve, jeez. God, that's such a great, man. Destiny, you're being bad faith. Okay. Are you saying they don't increase costs for non-insured? I'm saying that insurance companies are just one cog in an incredibly complicated system of payment for treatment. And that if you're somebody that likes to blame insurance companies, you're just a retard looking for an easy solution for a very complicated problem. It might feel nice to blame insurance companies because it's always nice to have one bad guy to point the finger at, but you're just another retard in a long line of retards that will never get anything done or accomplished. And so far as like fixing problems with the cost of healthcare in the United States, because you think that it's just one person or one entity to blame. Twitter and Instagram users began remixing video. People with alternative insurance providers posted the "Lord, I have seen what you've done for others." Curious what the 90% AI thing comes from. Aren't they not the biggest cog in that process? Many people don't get access to the necessary life-saving treatment they need for the sole issue that their insurance claim gets denied. How is that the sole issue? The hospital could still treat them at a reduced cost, no? Or the government could cover it if they were covered under Medicaid, no? Like if I were to look at the profit margins of insurance companies, is it gonna be like hospital profit margins are like 1%? I guess like, what other cogs? Pharmaceutical profit margins are at 1%. Medical equipment manufacturing profit margins are 2%. And then it's like insurance company profit margins, 47%. Like, is that, look at the profit margins, don't theorize, look it up. United Health Group. What are we looking for? Quarterly statements, quarterly reports, financials and earnings reports. I don't know how to read these sheets. I also don't know if reading one quarter, because it might be higher or lower. Do you think that the quarterly reports will have like a history on it, or Jesus? 6%? Is this year over year, or is this quarterly, or, oh, hold on, read another thing. United Health Group profit margin quarterly. Is this profit margin like, so if I read like a 6% quarterly profit margin, does that mean that the annual is 24%? Or does that mean if this profit margin holds for the entire year, it would be 6.11%? Annual is 6% of it, 6% every quarter. Okay, yeah. Okay, so it doesn't even seem like the profits are that high compared to, I guess, what I would expect to see most stuff, right? Anywhere from like 7 to 10% is about like your really huge average. If they had no profit, prices would be 6% less. Okay, then why don't we just, so if we abolished all insurance companies and just had people paid directly, do you think that's how that would work? Or also, is 6% even a meaningful difference? What are we talking about here? When it comes to fucking healthcare costs? I don't know if that's the differentiator there, Chief. Do you have an opinion on what you would consider a fair reason to deny a claim? I mean, what do you mean? It depends on what you're trying to claim. It depends on what your insurance covers. It depends on, I imagine, a whole multitude of things. I can think of a million reasons why you might deny a claim. You might deny a claim because the treatment that's being prescribed isn't actually effective in treating a condition. It might be outside of what the coverage you're paying for covers. It might be, I don't know. I don't know. Why are claims denied? I don't know. Destiny won't address the waste issue. What waste issue? Why do you think I won't address something? Why, I don't understand. Why? Do you know who you're watching? At Destiny. So let the insurance company decide what's best for you and not your provider and doctors. I mean, you could just not get insurance, I guess, and just go pay for it all yourself, no? Or I mean, do you think insurance companies are qualified to determine if a treatment is not warranted? I imagine they probably are fairly qualified in that area. Yes. What do you think? What do you think insurance companies measure? They probably employ a fuck ton of like actuaries and have a pretty good understanding of like healthcare outcomes based on different treatments and everything. I would imagine insurance is legally required. Health insurance is legally required? What are you talking about? I work for a healthcare company. I have a big red button on my desk. Every time I press it, a claim is denied and the money saved is deposited into my account. I work from home and I watch Destiny while working. You can't just look at profit margin. You have to look at gross income versus how much is spent on actual medical care. The rest of their spending is going to be on BS that does not help patients. Okay. Shouldn't we just let doctors decide? Wouldn't they know better? I don't know. It probably depends on what the, I'm not even sure what, I don't even know for certain types of like, for certain types of prescriptions, like what doctors are even like prescribing for. Like for instance, if you have like an 80-year-old patient that gets some type of injury, right? Like a doctor might know like, well, a hip replacement or this type of thing would be the best way to make the patient feel better. But like, it's a huge surgery. It's incredibly expensive. And the resources allocated to this person that might only live for another year might not, like, these aren't decisions I think like a doctor can necessarily make effectively. Or not that they couldn't make it, but it's like outside of like what a doctor is like specialized in terms of like just at Destiny. Healthcare is a huge issue. I'm surprised you lean right on this issue. I don't know. I don't lean right. I'm just not retarded. I think a public option is good, but I just think it's hilariously simplistic when people think that there's just like one problem. Oh, it's just the insurance company. We just got rid of that. Everything will be fine. You're retarded if you think that. Destiny just described death panels, unironically. Yeah, technically, everything in life is a death panel, Chief. If you haven't saved up enough money for the most expensive experimental treatments, that could be a death panel. Or if you don't live in a place that has the correct hospital with the correct like treatment you're looking for, that could be a death panel. Like, I mean, anything in life can be a death panel, theoretically. Like you understand that if you had a public option, that the government would just be making the same decisions that your insurance provider makes, right? Destiny, I know. I just mean you're leaning slightly right and you should read on it. I guarantee you that I have more personal experience with healthcare in the United States and paying for it and paying out of pocket for it. And I've read more on it than probably 99% of chat. So fuck you. Okay. Dipshit. Of course, there isn't one problem, but all the problems we have spread from the implementation of insurance coverage in the 1950s. Okay. Oh, my browser window crashed. Nice. Any comment on them using AI to deny claims? I don't know. I haven't gotten to that claim yet. Do you agree that a health insurance company has a profit-driven bias to skew towards unfairly denying healthcare rather than mistakenly providing it? If this is the case, would this cause systemic unfair denial of healthcare? Do you think that hospitals have an incentive to deny certain types of treatments that might be expensive to administer? I mean, like there could be perverse incentives anywhere. But I mean, the goal is that you have enough regulation or that there's enough like marketing that if a company denies too much or whatever, nobody buys them or whatever. Like, what is your broad understanding of the problem with healthcare? I don't know. There's a ton of different issues with healthcare. I think American pharmaceutical companies pay a whole bunch of money when it comes to research and development. I think Americans tend to favor more expensive treatments. Like we'll usually pick the latest, more cutting edge stuff. I think that we tend to be unhealthier. So things like obesity and everything increase costs for healthcare as well. I mean, insurance companies and administrative costs definitely add to it. Our staff are paid a lot. Like doctors and nurses and everything in the US make a lot of money compared to other countries. There's a fuck ton of... Destiny, you're only 30 years old. What issues do you deal with where you feel you're superior on this topic? I'm 35 years old, and my kid's mom had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma when she was 22. And we did the whole chemo process and everything until she was better. I also had power of attorney over my grandma and monitored, to be fair, I was only 19, but I monitored a lot of her healthcare coverage and a lot of her doctor's appointments and picking up pharmacies, and then the shit that she had to deal with when she was in, I don't think it was a nursing home, but some shit where they pulled a bed tray and they ripped her bone. Like, I've seen a lot of parts of the healthcare system, probably more than most of you dipshits, but there might be some people, but... Are the healthcare outcomes even that much worse in the US than in other countries? I think our healthcare outcomes are slightly worse in some fields. The biggest issue is that we spend a lot of money, But another issue is that there are some healthcare outcomes that are deceptive, and it's really, really hard to measure them. I don't know if there's like a good like summary of how to actually compare. So, for instance, one thing that I've read that there's a lot of contention about, a really commonly cited figure is like infant mortality when it comes to determining how effective or ineffective like a healthcare system is. And I've heard people argue that in the United States, because we have superior healthcare than some other countries, like we try to save more babies, like preemies or whatever, that will lead to higher infant mortality rates. Whereas like in other countries, they would just abort a baby like this. So they end up having much better healthcare outcomes. So Cuba is the obvious huge example here, where it's like fucking an insane percentage of people. It's the highest abortion rates in the world, but their infant mortality is like very, 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 very good as a result. Like very few complications because they abort anything if it looks like there's a problem. So just like stuff like infant mortality is very difficult to measure. That's like one of other. I think that's the most contentious figure that people cite. I've heard that Medicaid/Medicare boosts costs due to lack of negotiation power, and that trickles down to the negotiation. That's true. Although finally we got insulin stuff lowered. The inability of Medicare, I think, to negotiate drug prices is really fucking stupid. What is your honest, fully fleshed out opinion on insurance companies and their role in this issue? It probably contributes in a not large way to the overall administrative costs and everything. Insurance generally is a good thing because when you buy insurance, it basically, you pay a premium to smooth out volatility in any given thing that you're paying for. So for instance, rent. Well, I won't say rent an apartment, but and insurance is basically saying like, I think that if I was an ordinary person with no insurance, I might spend $100,000 on over a lifetime on this issue, but instead I'll spend $110,000 and I'll smooth out that cost over a period of time. I'm not aware of like insurance companies having like an extra special drag or extra special atrocious impact on healthcare coverage in the United States. But how do you protect against insurance companies from denying valid claims? Only government regulation can protect against that. Probably, yeah. Or you would get a different insurer, or people would stop recommending your insurer. I mean, I imagine there's a few, like if you were at work and you were partnered with an insurance company and they just like randomly deny a bunch of claims, that workplace might just switch insurance providers. Or if you have really shitty experiences with a particular insurance provider, maybe you switch another one. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell how much the denial of claims stuff is like a real thing versus like meme shit that a lot of you guys invent who have never even engaged with the healthcare system before. It's very difficult to even know. I wonder if she brings up somebody can link me the AI thing. Oh, okay. The AI system has a 90% error rate. United Health uses AI model with 90% error rate to deny care. Lawsuit alleges. Okay. Where's the complaint? Okay. 46-page complaint. Plaintiff's class action complaint. Plaintiffs, the estate of Jean B. Locken and the estate of Dale Henry Tetzloff. Plaintiffs individually and on behalf of all others similarly situated. Introduction. The putative class action. Putative. What does that mean? Generally considered or reputed to be. Okay. The putative class action arises from defendants' illegal deployment of artificial intelligence in place of real medical professionals to wrongfully deny elderly patients care owed to them under Medicare Advantage plans by overriding their treating physicians' determinations as to medically necessary care based on an AI model the defendants know has a 90% error rate. Okay, so it doesn't sound like this is a 90% error rate on denial of all claims or 90% denial rate or anything like that. It sounds like this is a 90% denial rate for elderly patients that are on a Medicare Advantage plan. Okay, that still seems like a really high error rate, which is not good. I don't know what the ordinary error rates are, but despite the high error rate, defendants continue to systematically deny claims using their flood AI model because they know that only a tiny minority of policyholders will appeal deny claims. The vast majority will either pay out-of-pocket costs or forego the remainder of their prescribed post-acute care. It sounds like 90% of the people who use the AI denied were incorrect denials for that group. That's to determine wait. Overriding their treating physician. Oh, maybe I don't know how much more specific, but okay. You speculated on what error rate refers to here before you read. My guess is an error rate is when you do something that you were not supposed to do. So if you have a 90% error rate, my guess is going to be that if you get 500 requests and you deny 100 of them, that 90 of them should have been approved. That's my guess. I guess the error could go both ways, no? But I also don't know what evidence they have in their complaint. I don't know if they'll even... Despite the high error rate, defendants continue to systematically deny claims using their flawed AI model. Defendants make a fraudulent scheme affords defendants a clear financial windfall in the form of policy premiums without having to pay for promised care, while the elderly are prematurely kicked out. Care facilities nationwide are forced to complete family savings to continue receiving because the AI model disagrees with their real-life doctors' determinations. Defendant United Group, etc. provides health insurance plans for 52.9 million Americans. Defendants state that their mission is to help people. Defendants' AI model, known as NH Predict, determines Medicare Advantage patients' coverage criteria in post-acute care settings with rigid and unrealistic predictions for recovery. Relying on the NH Predict AI model, defendants purport to predict how much care an elderly patient should require, but overrides real doctors' determinations as to the amount of care a patient in fact requires to recover. As such, defendants make coverage determinations not based on individual patients' needs, but based on the output of the NH predictive AI model, resulting in the inappropriate denial of necessary care prescribed by the patient's doctors. Defendants' implementation of the NH predictive AI model resulted in a significant increase in the number of post-acute care coverage denials. I wonder why they don't source that one. Maybe it's part of the lawsuit. Okay, this is the article that they cite for this. An algorithm and a doctor predicted a rapid recovery for Frances Walter, an 85-year-old Wisconsin woman, after a shattered left shoulder and an allergy to pain medication. In 16 more 6 days, it estimated she'd be able to leave her nursing home on the 17th day. Her Medicare Advantage insurer, Security Health Plan, followed the algorithm that cut off payment for her care. Concluding she was ready to return to the apartment where she lived alone. Meanwhile, medical notes in June 2019 showed Walter's pain was maxing out the scales and that she could not dress herself, go to the bathroom, or even push or walk without help. It would take more than a year for a federal judge to conclude the insurer's decision was at best speculative and that Walter was owed thousands of dollars for more than 3 weeks of treatment. While she fought the denial, she had to spend down her life savings and enroll in Medicaid just to progress to the point of putting on her shoes, her arm still in a sling. Health insurance companies have rejected medical claims for as long as they've been around, but a stat investigation found artificial intelligence is now driving their denials to new heights in Medicare Advantage, the taxpayer-funded alternative to traditional Medicare that covers more than 31 million people. Behind the scenes, insurers are using unregulated, predictive algorithms under the guise of scientific rigor to pinpoint the precise moment that they can possibly set off heated disputes between doctors and insurers, often delaying treatments of seriously ill patients. Older people who spent their lives paying into Medicare and are now facing amputation, fast-spreading cancers, and other devastating diagnoses are left to either pay for their care themselves or get by without it. If they disagree, they can file an appeal and spend months trying to recover their costs. When to die of their diseases within a 3-month period of time. We force them into denial and appeals process that lasts up to 2.5 years. While the firms say that the algorithm suggested ends up being a hard and fast rule that the plan or the care management firms really try to follow, said David Lipschutz, Associate Director of the Center for Medical Advocacy, a nonprofit group that has reviewed such denials. For more than 2 years of its work with Medicare patients, there's no deviation from it, no accounting for changes in condition, no accounting for situations which a person could use more care. Jesus. I wonder what this is. Hunter's criminal. COVID's from lab. 2020's robbed. Nice. One beneficiary in Connecticut, Miss M, was hospitalized after she underwent a hip replacement. The 80-year-old was transferred to a skilled nursing facility, SNF, for short-term rehab. Miss M's United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan touts that it offers coverage of unlimited days in an SAF or NASNF. Miss M's goal in the nursing home was to reach a level of independence that would allow her to return home where she lived on her own. Her recovery in the SNF, however, was hindered due to various complications such as nerve injury and becoming infected with COVID-19. Nevertheless, Miss M was still admitted to system of the Someone's still been for skill therapy. No. Despite this fact, someone's been forced to battle United Care for continued coverage of her 3 months stay at the facility while trying to regain mobility after her hip operation. Must file 10 appeals and United started determining her coverage. I wonder what the methods were before, like how they were determining whether they approved or denied something. Medicare has become highly profitable for insurance. As more patients over 65 and older, disabilities apply to the plan offer lower premiums, prescription drug savings, give insurers more latitude to deny and restrict services. I don't know anything about the clusterfuck that are Medicare Advantage plans. You can buy like top-up insurance for your Medicare or whatever. Jesus. Let's see. Over the last decade, a new industry has formed around these plans to predict how many hours of therapy patients will need, which types of doctors they might see, and exactly what they might be able to leave a hospital. Predictions have become so integral to Medicare Advantage that insurers themselves have started acquiring the makers of the most widely used tools. Elevance, Cigna, and CVS Health, which owns insurance giant Aetna, have all purchased these capabilities in recent years. As the influence of these predictive tools has spread, a recent examination by federal inspectors of denials made in 2019 found that private insurers repeatedly strayed beyond Medicare's detailed set of rules. Instead, they were using internally developed criteria to delay or deny care. Well, that's not good if you're on a federally regulated insurance plan. Okay, I'm curious where this 90% figure comes from. It'll be here somewhere. Wait. Music. Destiny, as a personal anecdote, I lived in London before moving to Ohio. I would pick American healthcare any day of the week, significantly shorter wait times and better quality of care. In my experience, the increased disposable income I receive as an American worker offsets the higher prices. I think it super depends on what you do for work. American healthcare can be really, really, really expensive. I don't think that's true for all people. I do think there are issues with some of the other universal healthcare systems in other places for sure. But I don't know if it's like an easy trade-off between one or the other. Medicare Advantage isn't top-up insurance unless it's not what you said. Aren't there like Medicare Plus plans or something? Is that not what the Medicare Advantage shit is? I don't know, the Medicare Part B and all that shit is way too. Jesus, we're going. Hold on. Between 2020 and 2022, the number of appeals filed to contest Medicare Advantage denials shot up 58% with nearly 150,000 requests to review a denial filed in 2022, according to a federal database. Between 2020 and 2022, the number of appeals filed to contest Medicare Advantage denials shot up 50. Okay, but this is COVID time. I wonder how many more people were like in the hospital in general. This is the number of appeals according to a federal database. Okay, what am I looking for? Medicare Advantage plan? Appeals decision search.